And after 24 hours, everything is gone. It's finished. The pollution is gone. Yes, magic.
Cool. Ça fait 4 ans maintenant que je suis le travail de Franck. En fait, il a prouvé à plusieurs reprises, en installant divers systèmes dans des habitats groupés, dans des châteaux, chez des particuliers, que ces systèmes de dépollution, ces systèmes d'énergisation fonctionnent bien. Du coup, il est tombé sur des gens qui lui ont permis en fait, de développer son entreprise de manière beaucoup plus exponentielle, avec des gros contrats à la clé. C'est ce qu'il fait maintenant, et donc il a investi une usine. Donc j'adore ces explications, j'espère qu'elles vous plairont aussi, et c'est pas toujours hyper scientifique, très carré, mais en tout cas c'est d'une logique parfois implacable, et j'aime bien en fait l'écouter, écouter sa façon de voir le monde, sa façon de voir les choses.
This is the cleaning system situation. So you see, so the water comes from the pump, goes to the systems, and then go out. And then what you put in, so you put chemicals in this place,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I don't care. What the fuck? And after 24 hours, everything is gone. It's finished. No filters, nowhere, nothing. So everything.
No
is really,
sand filters, no
pollution. The pollution is gone.
Thanks to the magic system.
Yes, magic.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
How do you explain how it works? I mean, how do you explain that it gets rid of all the pollutions?
Quantum physics.
Okay. And this is it.
Well, no, that's not it totally. But the thing is that it is because of quantum physics. And well, that's not really true, because quantum physics is just a way explaining how the reality works. And quantum physics explains to you actually that matter doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just actually vibration. It's energy. We all know that. We're talking about this for many years, of course. People are getting smarter all the time. But anyway, so if matter doesn't exist, what is matter then? Matter does only exist in your existence. So you look at matter, and matter will become matter because somebody looks. So quantum physics is telling you this, that a particle reacts on a different way if you look at it or if you don't look at it. Yeah? It goes a different path. Okay? So there's something going on. So the manifestation of the particle is actually only because it's being observed. Yes? Okay. So there's a creation stuff. So now I'm letting matter disappear. Chemical stuff, it disappears in the process. And a lot of people think, yeah, but it is matter, so it cannot disappear because it is matter.
Yeah.
But then I say, hey, listen, matter didn't exist in the first place. It is energy. It is information. That's it.
Franck n'est évidemment pas physicien quantique. Il utilise des principes de la physique quantique grâce aux découvertes qu'il a fait, aux expérimentations qu'il a menées. On va le voir juste après.
A couple of trucks took a lot of stuff away this week. So it's more empty now. This is actually the thing that does the job.
Yeah.
Emoto, no, it's not like a Japanese guy. The Japanese guy, the only thing that he did is actually to show you that the water has memory.
Okay, yeah.
That's his thing.
Okay.
Yeah? That's the only thing he did actually also. Yeah. But he didn't make the water. Yeah. He didn't create anything. He just showed the people, look, water is a recording device, right? So it records everything that is in its presence. So your thoughts go to the water.
Yeah.
Your positive or negative information goes into the water.
Yes.
Yeah? So what we do is, first of all, when you have water here, this water is informed. Everything is in it. Yeah, every shit, all the shit. So there's contamination of negative energy or electromagnetic pulses. Everything is in it. Yeah? So first of all, we take the information out.
With that stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's one way.
Yeah.
There's just one
step.
In the process.
Okay.
So we take the information out. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the information goes in.
So it goes here. Hello, information. Then it goes there to the big one, which is good to another, and then another, and then another.
No, this is not. That was a test. That was something.
Okay.
But those two do the job. So what we do is we take the information out first, and then we take the information in.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the point is, what you have after that process, you have water that is so strong, it has so much life in it, it can create anything. Yeah? So if you have a plant that almost died, it's really on its last breath, you give this water, it revives itself. Yeah?
What do you mean by life? Is like a molecular structure, or
no? It's the information. It's life itself.
It's more like a vibration.
It's the love. It's the creation power we have.
Okay.
You know? In nature is just that. It is creation. Nature is creation. You work with that every day. Yeah. To see, to look, and nature does it. And if you make mistakes, if you don't understand this, yeah, nature is going to show you, don't do that. I'm going to punish you. I'm not going to do that. Okay, now the thing is that, so here, those systems are standing with in big greenhouses. Yeah, a lot of those. Yeah? And those greenhouses, they have many problems. Yes, they have diseases. Yeah, so they have chemicals to stop those diseases. Yeah, and they have different kinds of problems. Now we put those in place, and then you see that they don't have to use any more chemicals, yeah, because the plant or the vegetable or whatever, yeah, it is so powerful that it can resist any kind of bacteria, viruses, etc. Yeah? So the immune system is there. But if you do it like what the greenhouse gas, what they're doing right now, they kill the immune system. So they need chemicals, they need this, they need that, they need all kinds of shit. Yeah? And they do the production, but if one virus comes in, it's gone. It's finished. They have to clear out all the house. So now that's now history.
Le côté un peu magique avec lequel je me moque de Franck, c'est évidemment le fait de pouvoir changer un fluide qui est a priori pollué, en tout cas qui est de la matière dont on ne veut pas, et qu'après il soit complètement dépollué 24 heures plus tard. Il lui dit que c'est juste de l'information et que grâce au principe de physique quantique, eh bien, il peut changer cette information pour rendre l'eau de nouveau, le fluide, de nouveau tout à fait clean, quoi. Je ne m'aventure pas sur ce chemin-là moi-même, mais le résultat y est. Et donc voilà, je ne comprends pas tout. Je sais qu'il a installé des systèmes dans ses vitaliseurs. On voit le détail juste un peu plus tard, mais le résultat est là.
For example, if you look at a small river, yeah, and you put in this small river, so the river goes like this into the nature, and you have rocks and stones in those rivers. You see, Schauberger showed you that in that river there are different streams and different temperatures.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So when you have a swirling action, the temperature goes down. Yeah? If you have a particular swirling action, the temperature goes down, so the water goes down, the hot water goes up, or the more warm water goes up. So you have not only this movement, but you have also this movement.
Okay.
Yeah? Of cold and warm water.
Okay.
Now this is a very important process to understand, because if 1 mile before I put in chemical,
yes,
and there you can read that you don't see the same chemical anymore. It's already being processed, being cleaned, actually, through that process, through this swirling and whirling and temperature that goes up and down, yes, on this way. That is the nature call. That is the language of the nature. really. And what we do, that is just stupid. You know, you have a filter, you push it through, and then you have dead water. Yeah. So, but this is actually exactly what happens in the river happens here in this setting.
So that's what's inside the very big tubes.
Yeah.
And so does the water goes inside those, or does it just go around?
No, the water goes around. Huh?
It goes around, and this is what changes the information.
Correct.
How is that possible?
Well, that's a good question.
That's the
I'm not telling you.
That's the secret.
If you're, you know, the thing is that water is a remarkable substance, huh? Because when you work with water, you learn actually that you see yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mirror. Yeah? So if you have bad intentions, you're not going to see beautiful things in the water. We have a Bovie value of 440,000 right now, and that is so high you cannot imagine. I mean, people go to wells, you know, to spas, etc., you know, because they have good water, yeah, and they have a Bovie value of around 25,000.
What's the Bovie value?
That's the energy value.
Okay, how do you measure that?
You can measure it. There's people who measure it with a pendle.
Okay.
Yeah, but you really need really good people to do that, because otherwise you don't get any information. But the thing is that it's not only the Bovie value that is very important. So the Bovie value tells you only where is the energy, you know, the level of energy. Yeah. But then you want to know what kind of energy is it.
Yeah.
Is it good or is it bad?
Okay, you can have bad energy but a high level.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can have water that has also more information that you don't want. So negative information, you want to measure that. The value of, for example, if you have a seed, and you put water into it, how many seeds are going to go ripe? You know, how many seeds are going to make it? So there's also a value from 1 to 10.
Okay.
10 is the highest, of course.
Yes.
Yeah? And then you have the intention of the guy or the woman who is doing this. So if I have the intention of making only money, there's no problem. But the thing is, you're going to see that in the device, and you're going to see that in the end result. It's like that electromagnetic waves kill the energy of water.
Okay.
So normally, if you put a pump into the water, you have a very big problem, because that is creating an electromagnetic wave.
Okay.
Yeah? Now the thing is, why I'm putting a pump in that one is because if you, we learned that if the water has a Bovie value that is higher and higher and higher, and it is strong, it has a good intention, it has, you know, everything is right, then the whole electromagnetic field is gone. It doesn't affect anymore on the water. But if you have water that has not those values, it's going to be killed, and it's like it has no value at all. Yeah? So you think you have water, but actually the only thing you have is a means of transportation of your minerals or your food or whatever. But what we do with the gardening is the water is becoming the feed, not the transportation anymore. No, it's much more. It is the reason why the plant is growing, and that's a big difference. So what we see with gardeners, they use only 30% of their normal food, what they put into the nutrients. Yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah. That is really enormous. So the most of the energy they get is really from the power of the system. And that's really something completely different. I saw vegetables that you didn't see before. Also the taste and everything. So no diseases and stuff like that. That's all history. So that's why we're so enthusiastic.
How does that cost? How much is it?
Well, it depends on what you want, you know, because we only work on site.
3 points en commun fondamentaux avec Franck, c'est que je considère l'eau comme un être vivant, pas comme un fluide mort ou inerte, ou qui est juste un transporteur d'informations. Je trouve que son approche est à la fois scientifique et cartésienne et à la fois complètement intuitive et dans le ressenti. Moi, je partage tout à fait ce paradoxe-là. Et troisièmement, en fait, c'est quelqu'un d'hyper pragmatique, donc qui ose aller vers l'expérimentation pure, mais qui est très pragmatique et qui sait faire les choses lui-même. Donc les premières pompes, il les a fait lui-même, il les a soudées lui-même, il les a conçues lui-même de A à Z. Et moi, c'est quelque chose que j'apprécie beaucoup parce que ça veut dire qu'il est en première main en fait sur ses propres créations.
No, well, we had for example, one salad guy. Yeah?
Salad?
Yeah, salad.
Okay, so he was producing salad, yeah.
Yeah, big greenhouse.
Yeah.
They had salad on water, yeah, water culture. So we put the systems on, yeah. And I said to the guy, okay, listen, we don't give anything, so no nutrients for the first 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah?
This kind of plant really does need nutrients because they're off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
just only water.
Only water. He goes like, okay, like okay. I said, okay, if it's not going right, you can put nutrients in, you know, because of course. But we had a small piece of the glass house, not the total glass house, of course. Yeah? Okay. Now we did that. 3 weeks, perfect. Long woods, you know, perfect. And then the last 2 weeks, they need a lot of power. Yeah. So I said, okay, put some nutrients in, but then only 30%, not 100. Okay. And no chemicals. He used to work always with chemicals. So we did that, and after 5 weeks, he had perfect lettuce, really perfect. Yeah, good taste, everything. And he said, it's just not possible. He said, this is just not possible. I said, okay, we're doing another one. Another one. Okay, another one. We did this 3 times. Yeah? After the 3 times, I said, listen, now you have to make a decision because, you know, come on, huh? We are not philanthropists. Huh? So, and he said, no, I'm not going to do it. But he was honest. One of the few, actually, who were really honest. He said, I don't understand it, so I don't want it. Even if he saw that his problems were gone, because you have to know that he uses 9,500 euros per month on chemicals only. And the system costs then 25,000 euros.
Okay.
For the whole
3 months?
hectare.
3 months, and it's...
Yes, and he didn't do it because he didn't understand. That's the strange thing, you know, because the technical stuff is already there. It is there. We can use it, you know. The big problem is not the technical stuff, but explaining it to the people so we can use it, you know. That's it. There's a lot of ego, you know. I mean, come on.
Le travail et les recherches de Franck consistent principalement à étudier les systèmes naturels, les transposer dans des fonctionnements qui puissent être techniquement accessibles pour les humains, mais surtout de ne jamais aller à l'encontre du processus biomimétique, du processus naturel vivant, pour garder les propriétés les plus dynamiques possibles de tous les éléments avec lesquels il travaille.